Good afternoon and a very warm welcome indeed to today's iOB business webinar. Very excited to speak with you today. So at the moment, you should be able to just see me. Today, we're going to be talking about business coaching. Very exciting topic. And I'm going to run through it with you in great detail in the next couple of minutes. So what we're doing just now, we're waiting for other people to join the webinar. So I'm going to give it a little minute or two, make sure that everybody who is attending has made it to the webinar safe and sound, and then we will get going. So in the meantime, it would be massively helpful if you could let me know if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. Run through these basics just before we kick off today. I'm just going to get the presentation set up for us at the moment. If you just bear with me. So today's discussion, what we're going to be talking about, we are going to be talking about how business coaching can accelerate your performance, specifically in 2021 and beyond. Okay, it's very important that we cover these aspects of how business coach can help accelerate your performance as a prospective business owner, as a current business owner, as someone who is looking in any way interested in business in 2021 and beyond. So we're just going to get set up just now. If you give me 1 minute. Those of us that we have online already, thank you so much for joining us. It's always wonderful to see so many people on these webinars with this valuable content being shared to as many people as I can possibly get it to, and such a vast array of countries that are joining us on this webinar. I'm always impressed by this. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Okay, so just a little bit of kind of webinar details before we kick off. I'm going to be talking you through a presentation today. The presentation itself is going to last for around about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe more, maybe less. I'm not going to try and take too much of your valuable time. And at the end, I'm going to run through a little Q&A session with you. So if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, please do not hesitate to pop them in a Q&A box. It should be at the bottom of your screen somewhere, and you can have a look for that. I'll give you a little bit of time just now to find that. And if you do have any questions on any specific topics, let me know what part of the presentation you're asking your question about and pop that in the Q&A box, and I will get to it at the end there. So as I was saying earlier, for those of you that have just joined us, very warm welcome to this iOB business webinar today. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend. If you could just let me know one last time, if everyone can see the presentation screen okay, and everyone can hear me okay, just pop that in the chat box for me, and then we will be ready to kick off on today's presentation. So as I was saying as well, just for any of you that have just joined with us today, perfect, thank you so much, Anno, for letting me know. As I was saying, just today, if you have any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A box, and I will endeavor to get to them at the end. We're going to do a little Q&A session then. Okay, so it seems as if everyone can hear me okay, everyone can see me okay. So if you give me 2 seconds, what I'm going to do is flick off my camera just now, and we're going to get started on today's presentation. So today we're going to be discussing how business coaching can accelerate your performance. Okay, so a topic very close to my heart indeed. My name is Ben, and I am a business coach. I'm working with you today on this webinar, a topic so close to my heart and so valuable. I specialize in working with small businesses and helping them achieve stability and growth. Okay, two absolutely crucial fundamentals to business last year, this year, and every year beyond. Okay, stability and growth. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Number one, the fundamentals. Okay, the absolute bare basic things that a business coach should be working with you on today. Okay, so the purpose of this webinar is we really want to inform you what you can expect from working with a business coach, how you can benefit from it, and the key things to look out for if you do choose to work with a business coach at any point in the future, or if you choose to work with any kind of consultant or practitioner in business in any way, shape, or form. We want you to be absolutely informed in what to look out for and what to expect. Okay, so we're going to be covering the fundamentals of this. Second thing we're going to be talking about is removing the guesswork. Okay, making sure that where we're going with a business coach and where we're going in business in general is absolutely clear and concise at all times. Now, one of the biggest cripplers of startup businesses today is that they are guessing which direction to go in. Okay, there's questions that need to be answered and they're not getting the answers that they need because they either don't work with a coach or they do not know what to expect. So we're going to be working on that today. Okay, removing the guesswork. Number three, accountability. Now, you've definitely heard this word before if you're in any way interested in business. And accountability is such a crucial fundamental aspect of business, whether it's to yourself, to your business, to a business partner, to a spouse, whoever your accountability rests with. It's absolutely crucial that we get this done. Okay, so topic number one today, the fundamentals. A business coach will assist you in understanding how a business works in 2021. Now, times are changing, businesses are changing all the time. Okay, we take new directions, the economy changes, the working world changes, clients and customer demands change. Okay, and it's very, very important that you understand how a business works this year. Okay, especially in the new year. Now, we've just ticked over, and I hope that you all had a wonderful festive break, by the way, and are ready to get back to business. But in 2021, we need to understand how business works. Last year, we had something completely unexpected that none of us could have accounted for. We were learning as we went along in 2020. That's all any of us could do. Even the experts in the industry were adapting and changing to remain successful and remain consistent in 2020. But unfortunately, it saw the demise of so many businesses who suffered and struggled because of what happened in 2020. And we do not want that to happen again in 2021. So a business coach will assist you in understanding how a business works in 2021, okay? Pandemics and things like that aside, we want to work on what does it mean to be a business owner in 2021? What must you do? How must you serve your clients and your customers? And how can you focus your business in the right direction throughout this coming year? Okay, the perfect time to talk about it is right now, right at the beginning of the year. The second thing that a business coach will work with you on is establishing exactly what your skill set is and how to monetize it. Now, this is such an important component because your skill set can mean a number of things, okay? Now, many people look to start businesses or have an ambition to start a business. Now, one of the key things that stops them is not necessarily understanding what they would do, okay? So if you're speaking to a friend or a colleague or someone who's looking to start a business, they might think, oh, well, do you know what? I would love to be self-employed. I'd love to be a business owner, but I just don't know how or when or even why sometimes, okay? So some people will be very comfortable with their day job, very comfortable with what they're doing at the moment, very happy in their current position, but they just need a bit of a change, okay? Maybe they like their routine. Maybe they don't understand what that change would mean for them, okay? So this is such an important aspect for any business practice at all, never mind working with business coaches and consultants and things like that. Knowing what your skill set is really the absolute foundational beginning of how you can begin business, okay? So your skill set, it could be something that you are very, very good at naturally. It could be something that you've studied for a long time. It could be something that you have a great amount of experience in. Okay, maybe you've been doing it for many years. Now, some people, when they leave their day jobs or when they leave what they're currently doing, they don't necessarily want to do the same thing. So say you've got an accountant leaving their job, for example, in order to pursue a brand new business. But that brand new business is in sales because this accountant has a real passion for speaking to people, okay? They would be confused as to whether their skill set laid in accounting or whether it laid in sales. All right, so this is so important to establish exactly what your skill set is, and as a secondary component to that, how to monetize it, okay? Because the other objection, the other barrier that people may have is when they're looking at their skill set, they think, well, it's all very well and good being good at this thing, but how on earth do I make money from it? Okay. Now, of course, money is business. Business is money. Okay. The two directly tied together. Without money, there is no business. Okay. And without business, there is no money. So we have to make sure that we know how we're monetizing our skill set. Okay. And that is where a business coach will step in. That is where a business coach will be able to see the holes in the plan and plug it together and show you how you can make money from your skill set. Okay. Now, not every skill set can make money, but there is quite literally an incalculable amount of skill sets out there that can earn money. You just have to know how it fits in together, okay? So establishing exactly what your skill set is and how to monetize it. That's the second thing that a business coach would work with you on. Number 3, establishing your ideal client and helping you find them, okay? So let's work through this methodically, okay? We need to know first what our skill set is. What are we good at? What are we passionate about? What do we have experience in? Okay, now if your skill set can tie in with what you love, you really are winning in business. If not, that's okay, as long as you can work it around yourself and still enjoy what you do. So once you've established what this skill set is, once you've established how to monetize it, you need to know who your ideal client is. And this will be far easier when you know what your skill set is. Because if you don't know what you're selling, you don't know what your skill set is, you don't know how to monetize it, nobody could possibly hope to find an ideal client. Your ideal client stems as a result of the skill set and the money behind it. Okay, that's how you find your ideal client. Now, once we know who this ideal client is, you might be thinking, well, Ben, it's all very well and good. Like, I know who my ideal client is and I know who would buy from me, but how on earth do I find them? Okay, now this is what a business coach would work with you on, helping you find your ideal client. Because as you quite rightly are probably thinking to yourself just now, knowing who the client is one thing. Finding them and tracking them down and showing them your product is a completely different thing. Okay, so it's very, very important that we know who our ideal client is and how we can find them. Okay, and this is something that a very, very, very good and focused business coach will help you find. Okay, this is the value that they will bring to your table in your business. Next, developing an irresistible and effective offer. Now, why am I saying irresistible? Okay, because when you piece things like this together, again, working through it methodically, okay, we've got a skill set. That's one thing. We've got an understanding of how to make money from it. Okay, great. So we know what our skill set is and how we can charge for it. We know who our ideal client is now, and we know how we find them. So the next part behind this is an offer. Okay, now, why have I put specifically irresistible offer? Because the client has to want and need what you have. Now, part of your offer is not just saying, I do this or I do that. It's understanding how this correlates with the client's needs, demands, and desires. So when you have an irresistible offer put together, you'll understand why the client wants it, why the client needs it, and where their desire is to make a change. Okay? An irresistible offer should mean something that they would simply be crazy to turn down. Okay? Something that they physically couldn't say no to because it's too good. They absolutely need this. And developing an irresistible and effective offer is something that a business coach would help you compile and put together. Because it's not just what you have, it's how you convey the message, which brings me on to an effective offer. Okay, so I've chosen these two words for a very, very good reason. Irresistible and effective. The effectiveness comes in with how you convey the message, because you could have the best offer in the world, but if you're not highlighting the key components, the most important areas of where this offer kicks in to help the client, potential client, customer, prospect, however you'd like to refer to them. If you're not conveying this message in an effective manner, then you're doing yourself and them a disservice. So the offer itself must be irresistible and it must be effective. Now, your offer, just to quickly summarize, could be a service that you sell, a product that you offer. It could be a combination of the two, okay? Your offer is what you sell to your prospective clients. That is your offer, okay? It's not necessarily a product. It's not necessarily a service. It could be either or it could be both. Your offer is a compilation of these things put together in an irresistible and effective manner, okay? So if you do have any questions on that, I would love to answer them. Please do fire it in the Q&A box and I will get to it at the end for you. Next, focused lead generation strategies and understanding how to close clients, okay? Now, again, two very, very important aspects, okay? Your lead generation strategy is what informs your prospective database, your prospective client base about your offer. Without lead generation, you are unknown. If you do not convey the message in a good manner and you do not make sure that people are seeing what you have to say, then you're seriously hampering your chances of selling your product or your service, which would combine together as your offer, okay? So focused lead generation strategies. The reason I say focused here, and again, I say this for a very specific reason, that many people will try multiple different methods of lead generation, but not specifically know which one to go for and which one not to go for, okay? Now, this is nothing to be down about, okay? If you don't know marketing, you might know sales. If you don't know sales, you might know accounting. My point here is that everybody has a different skill set. If a marketer tried to do accounting, they would be nowhere near as good at it as an accountant would be, okay? Now, this is the point that I'm trying to convey. The reason that many business owners go in the wrong direction with their marketing strategy specifically is because they are not marketers. They do not know marketing as well as a marketer themselves would. Now, a business coach has very good understanding overall of all of these topics. They must do in order to teach you efficiently. So again, when you're looking for a business coach, look for a business coach who is experienced in these fields, who can deliver on what you need, okay? Focused lead generation strategies, and more importantly, understanding how to close these clients. Once you found the prospects, once you're informing people about your brand, once you're informing people about your offer, your service, your product, okay, your offer, you need to understand how to close these clients, and each one will have a different method. So some clients may prefer to buy directly from your website, for example, and that's a very, very simple close. Okay. Now, when I say close, I mean the client puts pen to paper if you use contracts and they start paying you money. Okay. The working relationship begins. That's what I mean when I say understanding how to close clients. To close a client means they have accepted your offer and they have started to pay you money for said offer. Okay. So in order to do this, there are multiple different sales methods that we can take. And that really relies a lot on you understanding who you are as a person, who you are as a business, and how your clients like to interact with your company or business. Okay? So that could be a sales meeting. It could be an in-person conversation. Obviously, COVID permitting and whatnot, but hopefully you'll be able to do that again in the near future. Could be a telephone conversation, could be an email, could be a landing page, a sales page, a website. There are multiple different ways to do this. That it's up to you and your business coach to work together to find the most effective way of doing this. Okay, next thing, consistent income and knowing how to scale it. Now, this one is a very, very important topic to me and very, very important topic to business as a whole, because without consistency, we cannot possibly hope to scale. Okay. The biggest thing that needs to be worked on, and the biggest reason, or at least one of the biggest reasons why so many young startup businesses do not succeed, is because they are not working to establish consistent income. Sporadic and patchy income can be great when it comes in, but it's absolutely awful when it doesn't. So establishing consistent, regular, monthly, weekly, daily income, whatever that looks like, it needs to be consistent. You need to be able to understand where it's coming from and how to get it. Okay, establishing consistent income and knowing how to scale it. Without consistency, we can't possibly hope to understand how we scale this. If you understand the actions that you are doing in order to achieve the income, you can then scale it. So if I ask you this question, you're earning £2,000 a month right now. You understand how you are earning this £2,000 a month. You know how you're getting the conversation with the client. You know what you're selling and you know how you're selling it. If you understand all of this, then what would stop you from going from 2,000 to 3,000? From 3,000 to 4, from 4 to 5, and 5 to 6, and beyond. There is nothing that would stop you from doing this if you understood your lead generation, okay? You understood where your consistent income is coming from. And once we have consistency, once we understand the consistency, we can then scale it. But we have to first understand the actions behind the consistency. So again, I hope that makes sense, but I am absolutely happy to run through any questions that you may have. Anything that doesn't make perfect sense on scaling your consistent income, okay? Next thing we're going to talk about today, removing the guesswork, okay? A big part of business that we want to avoid is making mistakes, okay? If we can avoid as many mistakes as possible, we have a much higher chance of being successful in business. Now, the most obvious way to do this is to work with someone who's been there and who has done that. So the first thing, let's go back to scalability for a second, okay? Now, when we look to scale, we first understand consistent income. Once we understand consistent income, we would need a growth plan in order to grow that, okay? So scalability coincides with consistency, which also, just as a final point, ties in with the growth plan, okay? We must plan for things that we wish to achieve. So your coach, your business coach, would work with you on putting together a clear, concise growth plan, okay? Step by step. This is where we hope to be by this specific deadline, and this is how we're going to work towards it, okay? A clear and concise plan for your business growth. Next, continual support for burning questions. Now, there's a very good reason that I focus on this specifically right now, because you must be able to ask questions. Undoubtedly, if you're interested in business, if you're a current business owner, if you're a fledgling business owner, wherever you're at in your journey, okay? Wherever you're at, you will have questions. And this is exactly what a coach would be there to support you with, okay? Continual support for burning questions. These questions need to be asked so that the mistakes can be avoided. The crucial mistakes that can seriously hamper or hurt your growth. Now, nobody is guaranteed anything, especially not in business. Mistakes, sure, they will happen. The crucial mistakes, however, can be avoided if you know what to look out for, okay? It is so important that you are steered in the right direction by someone who has been there and done that before, who can help steer you in the same direction. Avoiding crucial mistakes that can seriously hamper or hurt your growth. Now, I want you to think about that for just a second, because this is so important. If you can think back to any point in past business, previous business, current business, future business, where you may encounter or have encountered a mistake before, that you feel, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Okay, now I can really be confident in saying that pretty much everyone on this webinar at some point in time has come across this unfortunate circumstance. We've made a mistake. We'd wish we hadn't have done it, but we learned from it. But someone who's been there and done that enough times has had enough learning and enough knowledge to help guide you and stop you from making those same mistakes. Next thing a business coach would work with you on: remove the guesswork and build a solid structure around your business, especially when it comes to finance and operations. Two massive components of business. Now that we've talked about marketing, we've talked about sales, finance and operations are two parts that cannot be ignored. Okay? Finance, your financial structure. How much are you earning? How much are you spending? Are you balancing it correctly? Have you got enough money to support the business? Have you got enough money to support yourself? Is your expenditure too high? Is it too low? Are you hampering your financial growth because you're not spending enough? Understanding your financial structure of the business is a very, very important component when it comes to developing a business and growing it moving forward. Operations are the backbone of the business. Operations is how your business ticks, okay? Everything from training yourself, training any potential staff members, standard operating procedures, doing the same thing in the same way in the most efficient manner each time over so that there is no room for mistakes. Everything is getting double checked. Everything is being done properly, okay? That is operations. That is how we make sure that everything is done the way it is supposed to be done with our business, okay? Finance and operations are two massively important components of business. More importantly, when it comes to the structure of the business itself, okay? Now, marketing and sales, whilst they have a play on the structure of the business, they really more feed into the business. The actual structure of your business itself is finance and operations, okay? Now, one wonderful thing that I have the privilege of presenting are regular bi-weekly business growth sessions, okay, with iOB Business. I have the privilege of working directly with iOB Business to deliver these bi-weekly business growth sessions myself. In these business growth sessions, we cover everything from marketing to sales, to business structure, to finance, operations, lead generation, you name it. We cover these components of business because we know how valuable it is for new and ongoing businesses. We do this for our digital agency partners to ensure their success, make sure that what they have is consistent, okay? As I say, nobody can guarantee anything, but the more education you have, the better results you will yield. The better results you'll yield, the bigger your business grows, the more comfortably your business grows, okay? So these regular bi-weekly business growth sessions focus heavily on everything that is needed to work towards a successful business. Final thing we're going to talk about today, accountability, okay? Very, very important component of business and working relationships, okay? Now, a business coach will work with you on tailored business actions with allocated deadlines, okay? Now, the reason I say tailored, every business is different. Every business owner is different. Therefore, the actions must be tailored specifically to them and specifically to their business in line with their goals, okay? I'm going to talk about goals and objectives a bit more in just a second. But when these are tailored, they are specifically for you. When something is specifically for you, you have a much better chance at succeeding in said action, okay? So, as much as I would love to speak to everybody individually on this webinar, of course I can't. But I know that there are so many different people on this webinar. There are so many different businesses that tailoring these business actions to everybody all at one time, unfortunately, is not possible. So when you work with a business coach, when you work with them directly, they can work one-on-one with you to give you tailored business actions with allocated deadlines, okay? Now, deadlines are there to make sure that we get things done. If they are not done by the deadline that is set, it must be done again. We must start again in order to hit the next deadline. You cannot do the second action without completing the first. And unfortunately, this is just a fact, okay? And the reason I love presenting this to you so much is because I can give it to you straight from the horse's mouth, from a business coach on what business coaches should do and what business coaches should be. And this tailored business actions with allocated deadlines, speaking from firsthand experience, is one of the most important aspects of a business moving forward. It must have commitment and accountability, okay? The next component of accountability, setting objectives in line with overall goals, okay? So you will be asked when you begin working with a business coach, what goals you have, personal, financial, business, home life, work life. Whatever you hope to achieve, you will work with that with your business coach. Big goals need to be broken down into smaller, bite-sized objectives. So when I say objective setting in line with your overall goals, you must work with your business coach and they must work with you to set these small objectives that you can knock off one by one until you eventually progress into your overall goal. Finally, understanding what is required to obtain a goal, and more importantly, using a step-by-step plan to achieve it. So we just had a very brief discussion on this. The step-by-step plan is the part that you need to ensure that you continue moving forward, okay? To ensure that you continue working towards those overall goals. But understanding what is required to obtain a goal is just as important. Everything from business routine, to work ethic, to daily routine, to personal life, to your choices, to your sacrifices, to your commitments. Understanding what is required to attain a goal. Now, a particularly relevant time at the beginning of 2021, I'm sure many of us on this webinar have set goals. Many of us have things that we do wish to achieve, okay? Now, what we don't want, and what nobody wants, is to get to the end of the year and realize that you haven't hit your goals, whether it be because you didn't plan, whether you forgot about them, whether you didn't have the time, you didn't have the commitment, you didn't have the finance, any number of reasons why these goals weren't reached. It's so important that you understand what it's going to take to obtain your goal. And the experience from a business coach will inform you on what it will take. So today I have something for you, okay? What I would like to offer you is a free consultation with Kamran, the co-founder of iOB Business, okay? Very, very good man to know. Very, very knowledgeable man to know. And a man that I have the privilege of working with directly, okay? What you will get on this call, key insights on the digital marketing industry, and you will learn firsthand about the benefits of business coaching. As I said earlier, I have the privilege of being able to work directly with iOB Business and their large network of partners, okay? Now, this experience is invaluable. This experience is going to cost you nothing to gain, okay? You have nothing to lose here and everything to gain from going on this call with Kamran, okay? Find out more about how business growth sessions can accelerate your performance as an iOB business partner, okay? Massively, massively valuable time to spend with Kamran on the phone. And you can book that by going to iob-business.com/talk-to-us. I'm going to leave this link up here on the screen. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen and attend today's webinar. It's a real privilege to present to so many of you in so many different locations. I truly appreciate you taking the time to turn up today. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive onto a Q&A session. I've got 2 questions ready here with me. If you have any more, please do pass them through. We're going to be doing this session for about 5 minutes today. So any questions that you do have, pop them in a Q&A box. There's still time to do that. And that being said, whilst I'm about to go and get my questions ready, if you'd like to visit that link at the bottom of your screen just now, go ahead and book that conversation with Kamran, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so the first question I have from today's presentation, what is the difference between having a coach and teaching myself? Okay, well, that's a fair comment. Now, many do ask this question. Many do wonder this question. So I'm actually very, very grateful that this one has been asked today, okay? Now, the easiest way I can answer this question is that your coach has been there and done that. If you look for the right business coach who has the relevant experience, they can stop you from making the crucial mistakes that you may encounter along your business journey, along your digital agency journey, okay? Now, they are physically building other businesses with clients on a daily basis, okay? Now, this is one of the things that cannot be overlooked in 2021, in 2020, in any other year. Their business is live and real time. These businesses are live and in real time, and therefore so is the experience. They are helping other businesses grow right now, which is something that is absolutely invaluable and up-to-date information for you. So the real difference between having a coach and teaching yourself, well, it's the mistakes that you'll encounter. It's how the information is compiled together. It's how the information that you have access to actually makes sense, okay? Now, there is no substitute for experience. And that experience is what you get directly when you work with a business coach. Of course, you can look for things yourself online. You can look for things yourself on Google, I'm sure. But my question to you at this point is how would you know where to begin? What would you look for is my real question. So a coach would deliver this to you. So thank you very much. A very, very good question indeed. Now, just bear with me 1 second. I'm just getting my other question up. Okay, cool. So this one's on accountability, and more specifically, how/why would a coach make you more accountable? Okay, another fantastic question, and thank you so much for asking this. So accountability, I would say, always rests with you. Okay, now this is the first place to start. It is human nature to not want to let other people down, and this is the most honest, truthful approach I can give you to this question. Is that accountability really stems from having that partnership in which you do not want to let the other person down. That truly is firsthand human nature, that when you have a commitment to someone else, you do not want to let them down. It can be embarrassing, it can be difficult, it can be trying. It can be a very difficult and awkward experience if you do let someone else down. So naturally, as human beings, we want to avoid this, but also from a commitment and respect standpoint, we want to ensure that we're delivering on what we said we were going to deliver. Okay. Now, all that aside, a good business coach will check in with you. They'll motivate you. They'll make sure that you're carrying on. They'll make sure that you're continuing, and they'll make sure that whatever problems you're dealing with, you're not dealing with them on your own. That is one of the biggest perks of having a business coach. So I believe that wraps us up for the questions today. I'm just having one final check to make sure I've ticked everyone off. If you do have any further questions, please do feel free. The question I've just had there, Anil, thank you very much for asking that. I will leave that to Kamran. So if you haven't already, I would suggest that you go ahead and book a call with Kamran on the link on the screen just now. Thank you very much. And for anyone who has any further questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And the final part is that this will be recorded. So if there is any need to go back and review this webinar, or if you'd like to just have a look at it again, just for the general knowledge standpoint, please do feel free to do so. Okay, so once again, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak with me today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for attending. I wish you all the best for 2021, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. All the best, and bye for now.